Hello, beautiful people. I am going to wait for a few more people to come in. I'm so excited to talk about this topic because it's one of the areas of business that scares the shit out of people, right? Networking is so scary for so many people. But the good thing is that more than 70% of CEOs are actually introverts, right? So this truly is a skill that can be learned. Again, I'm going to give some time for people to come into the room because the meat of everything I'm talking about, everyone gets a chance to get. So I'll give it a few more minutes. Priscilla, hi, good to see you, love. Okay, so as you're rolling in, and those of you who have come in here before, you know this, but please do drop where you're from, where you're hailing in from, because it's super dope to see the presence that's in the room, and then you might see that other people are in your region, which is a good opportunity for you to connect. So just drop where you're from in the chat. I am so happy to see you. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is doing well. And we're going to talk about some scary shit today, right? Networking, if we be honest, it's not that you don't have time. It's not that you don't see why it's a priority. You do. It is just so scary to put yourself out there. And it's even scarier to put your business idea out there, right? Because it's unproven, it's untested, right? It's something that you have not had experience in before, right? Running a business, right? So we're gonna talk about it today. So we have Priscilla from Nigeria. Africa is in the house. Welcome, Priscilla. I'm so happy that you're here. Hi, Nina. From Atlanta, the loyal one. Nina is a day one representative. So happy you're here. Again, others definitely drop where you're from in the chat. We care. We want to know. And it's also dope to just see who's in close proximity. And there's absolutely power in proximity. There's a lot to unpack today in this. And unlike many of the webinars that I do where, I'm behind slides and I'm talking to you and I'm giving you theory, I'm giving you formulaic approaches to things. This is one that I need to look you in the eye, right? And we're going to have to interact with this a lot because networking is one of the most underutilized strategies in business for us, for Black people, for Black women especially. And we need to be the few that step outside of the mold, that break the mold, right? That kills the cycle of struggle. So I'm going to push you today. For those of you who have just dropped in, please do drop where you're from. I see some other faces in here. Whoop, whoop. A few more dead ones on the back side. A few of my students are in the room. So please do drop where you're from. In the chat, we have Africa in the building. So much love. I'm in South Africa, so I'm also representing Africa. We have Atlanta in the building. Queen from Cali is in the building. What's up, Queen? I love you deep. Who else do we have before we dive in? All right, so today, ladies, we're talking about networking for business growth, okay? So just to lay a foundation here, let's understand that in 2019, before the pandemic even hit, in 2019, Black women were making, on average, annual sales of $24,000 in their businesses for the whole year, okay? That's all Black women. And please understand, statistically speaking, that Black women start more businesses every single day than any other demographic. Okay, so we start more businesses than any other demographic, and we are making $24,000 per year on average, right? And this is not because we're not smart enough. That's a lie. It's not because we're not resilient enough. That has always been the lie, right? It is because we are doing it all and struggling, and we are not asking for help, right? We are not being given strategy. The problem is, right, the tools that are out there, nobody's capable for Black women. Nobody's looking for Black women. Nobody is holding and protecting space for Black women. So I salute you for being here, but just know today I'm going to push you. Blaze stands for building leaders and accepting zero excuses. That's for me. I will always show up for you. I will always show up for you. I need you to always show up for yourself. And I make sure that corporations that hand resources over to you all, they don't have any excuses either, right? So we're going to go somewhere today. I see a few other faces in the room, but y'all haven't dropped where y'all from. But we're going to keep on moving. So I need y'all to do something with me real quick. I need you to drop in the chat, it is time. I need to see that in the chat. It is time, it is time, it is time, it is time. I need you to drop that after you hit send and I see it. I need you to say it. It is time. It is time. It is time. It is time. I need you to drop that in the chat because it is now more than halfway through the year. We had our goals at the top of the year, right? We have these visions that we want to manifest. And it's time, y'all. Teswan said it's time. What's up, Teswan? Priscilla in Africa said it's time. Queen said it's time. Exclamation points on this. I got chills, I promise you. It is time, y'all. It is time. It is time. So what we are doing today, I need you to commit to doing it today. Nina said it's time. I'm going to give y'all resources in this chat that I need y'all to commit to today because it is time. The only way we're going to get better at this thing, y'all, is by reps. That's the truth, right? We learn how to cook mama's slamming mac and cheese by reps. It was trash the first time, right? We learned how to type on the keyboard without looking from reps, right? We didn't know what we were doing. We had that finger, that one finger that annoys us when we see, older people kind of, that was us, right? And everything else, it's just reps, y'all, but it is time. More than 70% of CEOs, more than 70% of CEOs are introverts. They said they're introverts, right? Which proves that networking is a skill, okay? So, some people say, most people say, it's who you know. I disagree. The truth is, it's who knows you. It's who knows you, because you can know a whole lot of people, right? You can geek out over a whole lot of people, but if they don't know your name, that gives you no edification. That gives you no lift. So y'all have said it's time. I'm telling y'all it's time. So we got to get to moving in strategy with this thing. Okay. All right. So first thing I want to say, and I need y'all to write this down. I want to do a couple of activities here where I'm pulling somebody out on the stage. So if you see that hand button, I need you to raise it so that I can pull you on the stage for different things. But just to start, I want to get a feel about where you guys are on a scale from 1 to 10, right? On a scale from 1 to 10, and there's no shame in this. And I'm intentionally getting y'all to write stuff because this is how easy networking is, especially in the virtual sense. Just putting your shit out there, y'all. But on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me how strong you feel like you are on networking in your business, right? So think about collaborations you do. Think about partnerships that you've done. Think about, maybe some panels that you've been featured on, whatever, right? On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you with networking today in your business? And it's no shame, right? We're all here for a reason, right? Y'all are doing better than the other. How many people on my list are today? About 2,200. And they take this knowledge. They're very interactive and but they're afraid to show up in these things, right? So y'all are already ahead of the game. But just give me a feel on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you right now in your business with networking? Where do you feel like you are? 4. Okay. We got 4 in the house. Got it. So that's about midway, right? Where else? 4. Yep. Okay. That seems like to be a consistent consensus. 4. Teswan, I'm gonna pull you up in a minute. Because I want to talk about something that you're collaborating on. Nina says 4. All right. So the consensus is about 4, right? So that's not, y'all aren't starting cold turkey. That's beautiful, right? So you already have some lift. But we got to get you to 10, period, right? So one thing I want you to do is, and I need y'all to commit to this because y'all have all said it's time. one thing I want you to do is on a quarterly basis, I need you to write out a plan for how many networking activities you're going to do, right? Write that down on a quarterly basis. So lucky for you, 3Q started on July the 1st. 3Q started on July the 1st, right? So you're already into quarter 3, right? But by the end of quarter 3, right, which is going to end on September 30th, I need you to have hit your number goal, right? Now, how are you going to do this? And I need you to do this every single quarter, right? And add some more to that number every single quarter, right? But how are you going to do this? There are a few different ways, right? One is conferences. If y'all do not go to conferences, y'all are hugely missing out, right? Because in conferences, you are surrounded by like-minded people. They're into everything you're into as far as it pertains to whatever that conference topic is about, right? Even on a virtual basis, y'all. You're going to see people in a chat just like this. And I'm getting y'all to write in this chat on purpose because the reps are going to free you, right? Where you can drop in your LinkedIn name, your Instagram name, you can cheer somebody on. I do this all the time. And at every single conference that I walk away from, I have at least 20 new contacts, at least, right? Conferences are absolutely free most times. The spectacular ones do have some fees that you pay, but I pay for conferences, and you absolutely should. I need y'all to sign up for conferences, right? And walk away with contacts. Literally use this chat right here if you're not in person, right? And drop your LinkedIn, drop your Instagram, man, drop your Facebook, whatever you're on, whatever tool you're using the most, where you're promoting yourself, where you're engaging with your audience, et cetera, et cetera. Y'all need to be up in them chats. Now, speaking of conferences, I'm about to drop something in the chat that I want y'all to register for. I'm going to be at this conference. So trust, I'm going to be checking for y'all. All right, so Sisters in Sales Virtual Summit. If you own a business, then you have to know how to sell your own product. That's just the name of the game. Like all CEOs have to be colored in sales, right? They have a free virtual conference every single year. Their conference this year is starting in a few weeks, right? I just dropped the link in the chat. I want y'all to register for the conference. I'm going to absolutely be there. And sisters, yes, it's Black people. So everybody at the conference are going to be Black women. Guess who's sponsoring it? Google. I mean, a whole bunch. Google, Oracle. I think Facebook's on there. Salesforce. I mean, like they have a roster of probably like 30 different companies that are at your corner, coach. What's that, Nina? And raise your hand if you want to come up. Because I need to talk to y'all today. I need y'all to get reps in on this thing and break the ice. But I need y'all to do this when I'm not looking too. But yeah, if you want to come up and talk about it, Nina, just raise your hand. But okay, so I need y'all to register for this conference, right? There is another group. So fire. If somebody can look this up and drop this in the chat for me. I Fund Women of Color. That's Nina's got it. Facebook and IG. Beautiful. Y'all follow Nina. For real. And this is literally what I do, y'all. And this is what y'all need to be doing. I swear it works. It is scary the first time you do it. Maybe the second. I don't think it's even going to be scary the second time because like you're going to get followers. You're going to get collaborations, etc. Case in point, I'll give an example of this because I'm not lying. Case in point. So last night I attended because I'm about to give y'all a tribe because outside of conferences, tribes are huge way to collaborate and meet people, network for business growth. Yesterday I was at a meeting for this tribe that I joined in November, right? I've been very busy. And beautiful Priscilla just dropped her LinkedIn. And feel free to drop links to these things too, y'all, so people can just click on it and hit the follow button. That's I'm glad y'all doing this, right? Because it's real-time feedback. That's a way to really convert people real fast. If you drop the link and they can just hit it and hit follow, that's 2 clicks, right? Compared to the copy, paste, search, whatever, right? But okay, so I was at this thing yesterday, this tribe I was a part of, right? And all I did was speak, y'all. All I did was speak. Literally, all I did was speak. And I speak this way, right? I keep it G, I keep it a buck all the time. Y'all, I got 22 follows from just speaking. So many people are like, Casey, what's your Instagram? Casey, blah, 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 blah. 22. All I did was speak, right? That was only my third meeting I went to since I joined in November, right? I joined so many of them because they're so important. I'm going to give y'all a whole bunch of game around all of this. But all I did was speak. I got 22 followers from that last night. And then today, catch this, I have 2 partnerships out of it. I DM'd, because that's another thing, sliding the DMs, right? I DM'd 2 of them and I said, hey, I do this show called That Casey Richardson Show where I feature Black women edifying other people, right? But it's coming from the mouths of Black women. Would you like to be featured on my episode this week? And I said, I want to film on Thursday. I got a yes and a yes, right? One person has 101,000 followers on Instagram. Do you know how much exposure that's going to give me? Do you know how much exposure that's going to give me? And that's literally just because I showed up. Like, this is networking, right? And the scary thing is, what if they say no? What if they ask me questions I can't answer? None of that's going to happen, right? But it's fire. The other person has 17,000 followers, and she built a 6-figure business in less than 6 months, right? Fire, right? I promise you, I'm telling you the truth. It is this easy, but it is time. Like, y'all got to start putting reps in this, because a lot of y'all have been showing up to these, and I love you for it, over and over again. But I don't know that you've been putting this stuff into practice. So it is time. So I dropped in the virtual summit. It is absolutely free. I'm going to be there. I want to see y'all there. And yes, I'm going to be checking for y'all being there. It is absolutely virtual. Another one. I fund women of color. Let me pull this up. If somebody else finds it before I do, definitely drop it in the chat. I fund women of color. Okay, I have it. I'm about to drop it in the chat right now. I need y'all to apply to this. Let me tell you about this, y'all. Woo, this is my favorite tribe outside of the Blaze Women's Network, because y'all cold. This is a group of Black women that are part of a tribe where we listen and edify each other to help each other raise money, right? And the platform is provided by I Fund Women, right? We can put our crowdfunding campaigns on there, or just like GoFundMe, we can put our business description on there, and we ask the world to raise money for us. Women have raised 6 figures over and over and over again, but they give a tribe, especially to Black women, women of color, to get added support. And every single Wednesday, I want y'all to apply to this, because I'm gonna see you I promise you, every Wednesday. They have a meeting on Monday, a little meet and greet, but Wednesdays where we just come in and we talk, y'all, and we're vulnerable and we cry with each other and we tell each other pain points. It is my favorite appointment every single week, and it's free, y'all. All you gotta do is apply to the program. And it's important because this is gonna teach you important reps, because they're gonna ask you, what is your business, right? What do you do? Who do you touch? Give me a pitch video. And literally, I was sitting in Tanzania when I gave him the pitch video, and it's just literally like less than 60 seconds. Tell me what you do. And my hair was crazy. It's dark. I'm just like, hey, I'm Casey Richardson. XYZ. I got in, right? But I joined my first meeting on a Wednesday for this one, y'all. And all I did was speak. All I did was say, I'm Casey Richardson. I help Black women who are doing it all but struggling to do it well. And I'm taking 10 years of corporate experience, and I'm making sure that we understand how to live the lives we deserve, right? That's all I did was speak. Within 24 hours, a bunch of people said, hey, like, what is your page, blah, blah, right? But then in 24 hours, I booked a $2,000 contract with a woman from that room. Now, we all in there to raise money. We all need support, etc. But I converted that into that network, right? And that's business growth. $4,000, a four-figure sales closer from just networking. And there are gonna be so many things that come from this, right? But I want y'all in this community for sure. Now, y'all can do everything I'm talking about over and over and over again, right? In conferences and tribes. Let me give you a couple of more tribes. So this, and I hope y'all are joining these things as I'm putting them in the chat. Had to rejoin. Yes, Priscilla, absolutely. Okay, so this one link I'm dropping is a Facebook group. It's called Black CEO. So men and women are in there. But it's fire, y'all, because like, is people always in there looking for speakers? Do it scared, y'all. Do it scared. It's people always in there looking for like partnerships. I mean, there's so many people in there. Like, it's like over 30,000 people, but like it gets busy. It's busy in there. I joined that tribe. I spoke at one of their events, and a week after the event, a lady paid me, an amazing woman paid me over $5,000 to create a 12-week virtual course for her, right? So again, all you have to do is show up and put in the reps and hear what I'm saying. Notice what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you have to talk like you are from Britain and like you are of the pedigree of a rich family. All you gotta do is show up. I promise you. Beat it. Y'all see what I wear on me every week, right? Every week. And I'm fully confident in my ability. I'm fully confident in my ability to transform you and touch you. I'm fully confident in my ability to help y'all be this free too, right? And y'all teach me how to be freer, right? As I talk to you and hear your challenges and what you've overcome, you do the same for me. So just show up. Now, Priscilla, I'm going to, and y'all, that Facebook group is absolutely free, but pull up. I'm in there. And again, I'm gonna be looking for y'all, right? And hopefully this is showing you that whatever you see on the outside from me, it is not because Casey is a rocket scientist and she's dope. It's because like, I'm showing up. I'm showing up in classes. I'm showing up in tribes. I'm showing up in conferences. Like a huge part of my day, my weeks, my months is learning from others. I'm reposting the link to iPhone Women of Color. I want y'all to apply to this today. Y'all already wrote, it is time. It is time. It is time. The universe is on your side. And again, I didn't put slides to hide behind today because I need to see y'all and feel y'all. If this is resonating and y'all are gonna commit to this, please drop a 1 in the chat. I need to feel y'all. I need to know that y'all are in this to win it. Not for me. Y'all have nothing to prove to me but for yourself, because it is absolutely possible for you to exceed the 24K that most Black-owned businesses are making. Not even most. The average Black-owned woman. Yes, I see a bunch of ones. The average is 24K. Like, sit with that. And please understand that it's not that we are not capable. It is that we don't have the mentorship capital and knowledge to get us there. And y'all, I'm giving y'all the knowledge I promise you, I know how to get you there in 6 months. I promise you, right? So just show. Okay, Queen said, can you drop the link for the conference again? I had to rejoin the chat. Absolutely. Okay, so the conference I'm dropping is Sisters in Sales 2021. This is absolutely free. What's dope is that it's not letting me copy. Let me pull it from up here. What's dope, y'all, is that most conferences are absolutely free. Most are absolutely free. And two, you can speak at those conferences. And I'm not telling you to do this today, but maybe by Q2 or Q3, you might be comfortable enough to DM because you would have made some connections. You would have known some people who are part of these things, etc. You'll be comfortable enough to DM some people and say, hey, I'd like to speak. Hey, I'd like to do the panel. And they're going to say yes. Like, please understand. But at least to start, I need you to show up. I need you to do exactly what Nina did in here today and drop your Facebook. I need you to do exactly what Priscilla did in here today, right? And drop your LinkedIn. And my tip would be to drop the active links to it so that people can just click and follow, right? All right, so a few other conferences. While I'm on the conference note, I'm going to drop them in here, and it's up to you. Now, these are conferences you invest in. I've invested in these conferences, changed my life every single time. But, right, this again is an investment, so I'm just going to drop it in here because these have not happened yet. And so you still have time to register. One is Afrotech. They pull people from all over the world. They have a virtual conference again this year, but there is an investment associated with it. Another one is Power Networking Conference. Like, it is thousands of people every year. It is designed specifically for Black entrepreneurs networking. It's crazy. It's so dope. I actually had the privilege of sitting down and hearing from the founder of it, George Fraser, earlier this year. So I'm actually going to share in slides some nuggets he gave because he's so powerful, man. I think it'll be good for everybody to hear. But yeah, and make sure everybody's still good. Okay, cool. It looks like y'all are still connected. Okay, so Afrotech is one that I dropped in. It happens every single year. Super fire, but there is an investment associated with it. I will absolutely be there. And then the other is Power Networking Conference. That one has not happened yet. George Fraser is fire. And I believe it's a worthy investment. Okay, so aside from that, right? So we have conferences. You need to be using the chat just like this. Drop, your stuff for people to follow, slide in the DMs, and just think of stuff, right? What thing can you think of to collaborate with them? Well, let's talk about that. And again, write these down because every single quarter, I need y'all to be doing a certain number of these, right? Maybe you setting your number to be 5 for the quarter. That's fine. That's better than 0, sis, right? And then in 4Q, you can set it to 8, right? But I need y'all to show up and do this stuff. All right, so you've shown up at conferences. You've shown up in tribes. Again, African Women of Color is fire. Black CEO is fire. I think I gave y'all another one too. Oh, the sister is the Sisters in Sales actually has a Slack channel. I can share that too. I just learned about that Slack channel and 4 others on Friday from a DM from a person on LinkedIn, right? This thing is powerful. But what do you do? All right, so these are some ideas for what you could do. Some of these people you might want to go on IG Live together with. So case in point, right? Say you are a hairstylist, right, in California, right? And you've connected with a hairstylist who is in Atlanta, Georgia, right? You guys are doing stuff hands-on, right? Cool. But you know in your head that you're going to start doing master classes, right? Where it doesn't matter where people are, right? And it doesn't matter what part of the world they're in, they can learn from your masterclass stuff, right? And maybe you want to eventually charge a subscription, right? A monthly fee for them to access some of your most intricate, scaled up technical classes, right? But you got to start somewhere, right? So you join with the hairstylist in Atlanta, right? Who has a following that's just as big as yours or 2 times as big. That's dope because that doubles or triples your exposure. Easy, right? And y'all do an IG Live together and y'all just talking to the people, right? Y'all talking about y'all's journey. Y'all talking about different things y'all tried. Y'all talking about lessons you learned, what you wish you knew 10 years ago when you started. I mean, just being human in front of people. Like that's what y'all need to do, right? Even in networking. Notice I have not asked you to develop a perfect elevator pitch. I have not. I have not asked you to lie about your background. Just show up like this right here, right? But I promise you, you're going to get customers. You're going to get more network. You're going to get a community of sisters and men, right? Who can be there for you to bounce your ideas off. But IG Lives would be great. And again, just slide in the DMs. When you meet these people, just slide in the DMs, bro. Just slide in the DMs. And I promise you they'll say yes. I did 2 of these today and they said yes. One person has 101,000 people following them and another person has 17,000. I only have 4,400, right? So I've exponentially grown my exposure by a DM. Slide in. Okay, another one could be affiliates, right? So say you sell a product. Because some of y'all are selling products, right? And say you really, really want your product to penetrate some regions where you're not in, right? Like maybe it's working with the people who know you and the people you're around, and maybe you put some billboards up, right, in your neighborhood, but you really want to sell products like outside of your current region or your current state. You can start an affiliate program with people, right? You network with people in your industry, or maybe they're not even in your industry, but they're just very well known. And you say, hey, I'm going to give you 20 of these boxes. And for everyone you sell, I'll give you 10% commission. That's amazing because those are 20 boxes you wouldn't have sold by yourself. Not in those regions. You have no reach, right? And you're only paying them as you get new money. So you can start affiliate programs, right? You can start affiliate programs where you're giving people 200 a time, whatever, right? But that is powerful because you use it for business growth. It's a win-win situation, right? You're getting even added exposure. That person is getting money, right? And your business grows at the end of the day. So that's an example of an affiliate program. You could do the same thing for virtual products, right? So I'll give an example. I have online products, right? And just like people can check out on my page and those proceeds come back into my business and I have to reinvest to pay my people, etc. I can have certain pages where my affiliates, people who are selling on my behalf, they get 20% commission of all sales. So it comes out automatically, right? So there are virtual ways to set this thing up. I have used and seen both sides, but that's another way. Brand ambassadors. Some of you might be selling merch, right? And it doesn't have to be your main business. Maybe you have a main business, but you sell merch that has those tees up there, right? Boom, get you a brand ambassador, right? And they're often paid by just getting the free stuff, right? Maybe you ship them a t-shirt and you say, hey, can you do a post about this? However big their following is, whether it's more than 50,000 people, 10,000 people, 7,000 people, that's X thousand number of people, right, who have eyes on your product now that didn't before. You might want to have somebody on the hook. I've done this before in my business, on my e-commerce business, where for 3 months you run a campaign, right? So for 3 months, I sent her a new product every single month, and she was to do a new post, right, around those products, or 3 new posts around those products every single month, and I paid her $50 a month, right? She did a great job. Anytime she did a post, she said, use my promo code Sean15. That's really the code, SHON 15. So I could see how well it was converting, right? And she got her money up front. I got my money, right, on the back end from the conversions, right? But again, like, this is why network is important, because if you're doing it all, you're doing it wrong, okay? But you have to start making these relationships, partnerships. So Teswan, if you're still out there, I think you are. I want to pull you up. Can you raise your hand, Mama? I want to pull you up, because you are actually working on a partnership offering in your business, and I think it will be super dope for everybody to hear about it. But just, and as I'm waiting for you to raise your hand, I'm hoping you do. I'm saying this very confidently, like, yeah, that's what she did. See y'all. So as she's coming up, partnerships is when you are truly co-branding something, right? Not where you're featuring somebody on your page or you're featuring somebody in exchange for something else. Like, you guys are really going in together, time, investment. The logos on stuff is truly 2 people, right? I accepted you, Teswan, but it might have dropped. If it messed up, just raise your hand again and I'll pull you up again. I'll try to pull you up again. But that's what a partnership is, right? And again, every single quarter, I need y'all to set a goal for yourself and meet their goal. Show up scared, but do it. Do the work, right? And I promise you're going to see so much growth at a fraction of the energy that you're putting in doing it all by yourself. Okay, I'm pulling you up again, Teswan. Hopefully it works, because I really would love for people to hear about what you're doing in your business around partnerships, which I think is underutilized today, from what I've seen with my clients and in my following on Instagram. It's still not coming up. I don't know if it's a bandwidth issue or what, Teswan. Got a block. Okay, sis. Okay, no worries. Well, I'm not even gonna be able to do it justice. But Teswan, I would love for y'all to see her. But Teswan is a former student of mine, and she's a current client. And she has a platform where she gives exposure to local artists in Atlanta by hosting these super dope music events where they can get on the mic, showcase their stuff. People that, want a good time, want some good drinks flowing and good vibes, they come in and listen, right? And a current partnership that she's working on is having a really good artist, right, who already has name recognition, right, and a following in that region. Excuse me, they're partnering in this event, in this kickoff event, right? Because his people will follow him, right? Which will help the other local artists, right? Who are just trying to be seen, right, for the first or second time. And it'll be a beautiful thing, right? And she can continue to play around with this or whatever, but that's the power in partnerships, right? Because and honestly, any following that Teswan has, that means that this artist who she's partnering with, that's new eyes on his stuff that can convert into CD sales, right? Concert ticket sales, whatever, right? She would have gave it way more justice than me. So I'm sorry, Teswan, for not giving all the razzle dazzle that I know you would have with your beautiful smile. But yeah, and her business is called Slumber Be Not, because she don't sleep on me, right? And she wants to get that same energy to other people, right? So partnerships are super dope. Sponsorships. Now, this don't have to be a Q3, because y'all need you to have a Q3 goal. It could be a Q5, Q6 goal, but sponsorships. is what we need to be leaning on too. But you got to nurture those relationships. I'll talk about how in a minute. I'll talk about how right now. But ultimately, eventually, we'll get to the point where somebody's actually paying you to post about their item, right? One post, right? Somebody's actually paying you to put it on your store. Somebody's actually paying you to be on a commercial, whatever, right? But it starts by nurturing that relationship, building a following, having a page where they can scroll and see, well, dang, like she really on it. She really well connected, right? There's value in me getting to her audience, right? And those are paid influencers the same way. All right, so I've done a lot of talking here. Now I need to hear from you. What is your goal? And I can see everybody that's in the room. So tell me, what is your goal for Q3? And these are networking activities, right? And there's a whole bucket of them. It can be showing up for conferences. It can be joining a tribe. It can be, doing IG lives with some people that are peers of yours in your industry that you meet through a number of ways, right? It could be by having brand ambassadors. It could be by having affiliates where you're giving them a commission on sales. What is your goal? And don't wait for other people to see their goal. For real, what is the goal that you wrote down? And again, do it scared. Like these reps are important so that it moves out the fear, right? When you're in these spaces that I'm not in. Nina said being a speaker at a conference, that's fire. You're going to love the Black CEO group, Nina. But then like look at other things as well. But what's the number? Like how many? Because every single quarter, y'all need to have a number. So how many of these activities are you going to do in Q3? And there needs to be a number. And I'm going to hold y'all accountable too. I'm going to write this number down right now. Here's my pen, the red pen, so y'all know it's serious. What's your number for Q3? Because it's time, right? We got to move, keep showing up for this, but then we have to move beyond just listening and actually doing it. And doing it scared, that's completely fine. Priscilla said 4. Showing up before conference and joining the tribe. I love it, Priscilla. So Priscilla has 5 for Q3. Priscilla, I'm gonna hold you to that. Teswan has 4. Beautiful. Teswan, you're already working on 1, so it's securing 3 more. And you have until September 30th. Keep the same energy. What else? It's some other people in this room. What's your number, y'all? It's time. Y'all wrote it. Y'all said it. It's time. Okay, so while I'm waiting for those to come in, I have a few things I want to show you. So, Natasha, what's up, Natasha? Natasha, where are you from? Natasha said 5 conferences. That's super fire, and that's in Q3. That's very impressive. Natasha Rodriguez. Beautiful. Nina said speak at 2, attend 2. All right, so these must be conferences. So Nina has a total of 4. All right, beautiful. I'm very proud of y'all. And just know that I'm going to be checking in on y'all, right? Because these reps are so important. Like all of the grades that you see, just know that they started exactly where you were, right? But without the reps, you don't get better. Without the reps, nobody knows your name, right? Case in point, and I'm now about to unpack the piece of this that is separate from everything I talked about just now. From Toronto, Canada, beautiful. Good to see you here in the place. We got Canada, we have Africa, Nigeria, we have Cape Town, we have Atlanta, we have Cali. I love it. But a mentor of mine, and I'm going to talk about these 3 prongs that y'all need to do. But a mentor of mine told me in our second meeting together, and it's the power of mentorship. He said, Casey, you're awesome. He said, you're charismatic, you know your stuff, you're confident. He said, but not enough people know your name. I needed that, right? That's the power. I needed that. He said, not enough people know your name. So you gotta increase your reps and get out there more so that more people know your name. Because again, I said at the beginning of this, it's not about who you know. I mean, that's cool. Like yes, you need to know people, right? You need to know their names. But it's about who knows you. And if you're not doing these reps, if you're not showing up on IG Live, showing up on Facebook Live, doing partnership events, doing brand ambassador type stuff, if you're not doing these things, enough people don't know your name. And that is so critical. And being an introvert, it's okay because it's just a skill like cooking mama's slamming mac and cheese, right? It's a skill just like typing on the keyboard without looking. It's just like using Excel and being, pretty good at that thing, right? We got to do these reps. So Queen says showing up at 3 conferences and building her social media presence. All right, cool, Queen. So I'm going to add in something because I ain't going to leave you at 3, right? So building your social media presence for the quarter, I want to push you to do 2 IG lives, right? And I hope that one of them, at least one of them, has another person on it. If you can squeeze in 2, that's even better, right? So I'm gonna write down 4 for you for networking activities. But it can become 5 if you do 2 IG lives with another person. Beautiful. I'm very proud of y'all. I'm writing this down, Queen. I promise you I'm gonna hold y'all accountable. I'm gonna be checking in. All right. So aside from the networking activities, which are absolutely crucial to give you exponential exposure, and this is why I say 1 + 1 is not 2, it is 11. I mean that, right? And I've seen it in my life. I've seen it for other people. On the back end, these are the things that people can't see, right? So the first thing we talked about are the things that people can't see is absolutely critical for exposure, right? It's absolutely critical for business growth, right? But on the back end, behind the scenes, there are 3 tiers that you need to have in your arsenal at all times. And that is mentors, sponsors, and peers. And this is in the back end for professional growth, right? Because if you are running a business, you are not a hobbyist, you are a professional, okay? And these are the people you need to have on ready to strengthen yourself. And it does not count, and I'm being hard on y'all on purpose, right? It does not count unless you have a calendar booking for this stuff on a repeat basis, okay? So on the mentorship side, right, you need to have mentors, and we can start with 1, right? And so I need y'all to write this down as your quarterly goal as well. And yes, it's on top of the networking activities. You need to have a mentor, right? Where y'all are meeting on a monthly basis. That's why I say if it's not on your calendar, it does not count. Y'all are meeting on a monthly basis so that you can unpack all of the things that scare you, right? All of the things that you're struggling with so that they can pour into you, because a 5-minute conversation will save you 5 years of learning on your own. Mentorship relationships are not about impressing the person at all, right? It is literally using that 30-minute time block for them to pour into you. So you have to tell them what your vulnerabilities are. You have to tell them what you're afraid of, and they're going to give you tactics. This is what I mentor people, right? The whole purpose is to pour into them, right? Because I've come across the tools that work, right? I've come across the communities that work. I've come across the strategies that work, right? How do you find a mentor? You're going to find it from showing up in these spaces. Hello, somebody, okay? And when you connect with people and you see, hey, this person could be a really good mentor, you just ask the question, right? You just say, hey, would you be willing to be my mentor, right? And they'll say yes. And then you, right, because the onus has to be on you, you set up the recurring calendar appointment. It is absolutely free for you to go into Google and set the first appointment and then hit that recurring button and make it happen monthly, right? But I need you to have that in y'all's arsenal. And over time, you'll have a few mentors, right? But I need you to start that in Q3. I promise you it's going to stretch you, because if that mentor of mine in our second meeting didn't say, Casey, yeah, you good, but there ain't enough people that know your name. And what he was saying was, okay, cool. So for the 1,000 people that follow you, okay, but if you're going to be a household name like Maya Angelou, like you want to be, I'm saying we have vulnerable conversations, right? Then the world needs to know your name. So I look at a few months later and I got, I got that Casey Richardson talk show showing up on LinkedIn and Vimeo and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Spotify. I'm not exaggerating, by the way, right? I put strategy into that because dang, he's right? And now I have things coming from all sorts of directions, because what he had learned in his 15-year entrepreneurial career, he was able to pour into me, right, in our 30-minute conversation. Right. And the same thing will happen for all of you. Right. And I met that mentor through Black CEO, by the way. So I'm serious about these communities. Right. All right. So mentors. Right. And again, it needs to be on your calendar. Boom. We're set there. Sponsors. You should look at sponsors like your board of directors. Right. These are the people that are so esteemed and have such privilege and power, right? They can cut red tape for you. Then instead of you being on the list to get a certain, I don't know, town hall or whatever for 3 months, they can say, hey, Casey Rich is going to use that, put her on the list, right? Put her on for this date. And the red tape is cut, right? These are the people that, whatever companies they're working for, you're doing an event and you need some sponsors. And they say, hey, we're going to donate $2,000 to Queen the top of, go ahead and write the check, right? Like that is what sponsors do, right? They're not mentors in that, they're not giving you day-to-day advice. They're not giving you monthly advice. They solve the problem like that, right? Because they have access and privilege, right? And resources at their fingertips. So, and again, I call these people my board of directors and I keep them on ready, right? I keep them on ready, and it involves nurturing those relationships. How do you get sponsors, right? Again, you show up at these events, right? You get mentors, and guess what? Mentors are very likely to be connected to sponsors. And after you've delved into that relationship and nurtured that relationship so much, they will connect you with other people that are higher than them who can do things for you that they can't do, right? And then you have a sponsorship relationship. So again, Q3, I want you to nurture the mentorship relationships, put it on your calendar, show up at these events. That's how you get the mentor. And then over time, right? Next quarter or the quarter thereafter, I need y'all to be hitting the sponsorship level. I hope y'all writing this down. Please drop a 1 in the chat if y'all writing this down. I'm watching now. But okay, so you need a sponsorship level, right? And that might not happen in Q3, and that's fine, but I need y'all to understand what a sponsor is. And once you come across that relationship, you need to know what it looks like, know what it tastes like, know what it smells like, so that you can pop that on your calendar. Because again, if it's not on your calendar, it does not count, right? All right, Queen says she's with me. Beautiful. Tessalon gave me 2 1s. I'm glad y'all are writing this down. Okay, so sponsors. You need to be meeting with sponsors once every 3 months. Again, these people are high up, they're busy, they're whatever. So the strategy there is, and you put it on your calendar to remind yourself to reach out for a meeting. The mentors, you put it on their calendar and y'all meet every single month. The sponsors, you put on your calendar, put a certain date, call it reminder to reach out to so-and-so, right? And everything, once you shoot them a new email and you say, hi, it's been a minute. I love to see how you're doing, how things are going with your business, whatever that business is, right? And I'm actually working on XYZ. I'd love to get, I'd love to see how you might be able to help with that, right? The sponsor's going to show up and like literally just give you stuff. I promise you, right? But the beauty is, in the middle of those 3 months, you would have been working, you would have been networking, you would have been building, you would have been growing. So as you're telling them these updates about all the amazing things you're doing, they're going to give you what you need to take you higher. I promise you, I've done this time and time again. It works. This is strategy, right? But you need to start the process, right? And do it scared because it's time. All right, lastly, and this is, I'm not going to belabor this too much because I want to end with showing y'all some stuff from George Fraser. Lastly, you need peers. And again, this is the background stuff. So number 1, because it's 3 tiers you need. Number 1 is mentors, right? It needs to be on your calendar every single month or it does not count. Sponsors, right? You need to grow into getting that, right? And every 3 months, you're going to be checking in with them. And again, it's strategy. Hi, it's been a minute, man. I'm dying to tell you about this summit that I'm throwing. Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing, blah, blah, blah. And when I talk on the phone, they're going to give you a couple of G's. They're going to give you a venue. I'm telling you, it will work. It does work every single time. But peers, right? The truth is you need to be surrounded by peers that you could work alongside, that you could work for, or that you can work under. Because life happens fast and you just never know where this journey is going to take you, right? So like-minded people who you intentionally make time to catch up with, and this might be every 6 weeks or so, right? Where you're putting a Zoom calendar on y'all's calendar and you literally just call it wine chat, whatever. I literally do this with peers, right? And this has happened. Like when I was in the professional work, I had this contract in the corporate world as well. I mean, there were peers that ended up being their bosses. Literally, like, literally right before I left, like one of my peers, I ended up being his boss, right? But I had connected him to be on boards alongside me, and we'd done amazing things together for Black people or whatever. And I actually, got a job and said, can I be on your team? Like, yeah, right. And it's no different in the entrepreneurial realm, right? I actually have some peers, that I'm just now thinking about it, that I'm their boss in entrepreneurship. I have 7 employees, right? And there's some fire people who I would walk to the end of the earth with, right? That I trust on my team, and they're killing it, right? So you need to have a group of peers, right? Who you can work alongside, who you could work for, and who could work under you, right? Where do you meet them? The same place I told you about before, right? But when you feel it, when you see it, you're going to know it, and you need to be setting up and need to be on your calendar, right? Because this is your strategy. This is your business. This is your trajectory, where you're saying, hey, girl, let's connect every so often, right? And either you put it on the calendar for y'all every 6 weeks, or you put the reminder for yourself. But if it's not on your calendar, it does not count, right? But it needs to be happening every 6 weeks so that you are nurturing that relationship. You are deepening that relationship. You are building trust and rapport so that you're comfortable bouncing ideas off of them, or they're comfortable saying, girl, come join me to this thing. I was invited, but I want you to come because the CEO of somebody is there, right? These things work, but those are the behind the scene things. All right. And so I'm going to leave you with this. Everything I talked about right now is tried and true that I have tested in my life, and it's worked tremendously, achieved me great success. People around the world know my name as a result of these things, these tactics. This is strategy. This is not going off your intuition and your gut. This is intentional strategy, right? Just today on LinkedIn, literally today on LinkedIn, my honors college from my alma mater posted about me and put my picture up there and said, we're spotlighting alumni Casey Richardson for helping people and businesses solve their personal and economic challenges. Powerful, right? Powerful. And that comes from network. Like, I didn't know they were going to do this today, right? But back in April, I talked to some people from the university, and they were following me, and I told them my story or whatever. And then the business school that I went to reposted and said, if you need some motivation today, read this write-up about Casey. I mean, just powerful, right? And you best believe it's going to be some sponsorship relationships that are teased out of that, right? So like these are truly my strategies. But before I close, and everybody that's used to this, y'all know I close on time at the top of the hour. I do want to share with you some seven top mistakes made in networking. That was shared with me earlier this year from the great George Fraser. So George Fraser, I think did I drop in the Power Networking Conference with y'all? I might not have. So let me drop that in the chat just in case I didn't. But he puts on, I think I did. But he puts on the Power Networking Conference every single year. It's very, very powerful. A lot of famous Black people that show up to that. But at the top of the year, sat down and he gave this powerful talk to a few of us from the Black CEO Network. I dropped y'all that link, who are going to be speaking at a conference, right? And this man is great. I mean, he is powerful. I don't know that I can do him justice, but I did take these nuggets to share with my tribe. So 7 mistakes that people make in networking. And again, his name is Dr. George Fraser. So he says, I'm starting from the bottom of the list. Mistake number 7, failure to follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Following up shows a respect for people's time and it builds trust. So according to Dr. George Fraser, he's received, and he gave some number, like he can literally remember it. He's been at this for over 20 years, and he's received like definitely over 23,000 business cards. He literally counts them. He literally knows. And he says that less than 1% of the people actually follow up with him, actually reach out, right? So that means there's so much opportunity in you following up. If you've made a connection with somebody, and let me tell you this, like I listen to people speak. They don't even have to like talk to me in the chat. If they drop their email address, I'm definitely emailing them and saying, I loved your talk. Oh my gosh, I'd love to spend 30 minutes with you and just talk. Because again, those are my potential mentors or even sponsors, right? And what Dr. Fraser is telling us is that less than 1% of all of these people ever even reach out in the first place. So like, this is a huge opportunity for y'all Black women. They're always going to say yes, I promise. Anybody that's ever asked me to, do anything or be a mentor, I've never said no, ever. So just know that there's a huge opportunity here, and this is strategy. This is not intuition. Like, this is legit game. Mistake number 6, poor first impression. People only listen to radio WIFM. What's in it for me? He said that's the only station they tune into. So you need to express your value in the first 15 to 17 seconds to pique their interest. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? How do you add value? Quantify that value. Have a business card. So what I'm going to say to you is this. And again, I'm speaking from my own personal experience. You do not, and eventually you'll get there because you're going to do it over and over and over again and you'll perfect it. But you do not need to have a polished elevator speech to grow your network and to secure mentors and to secure sponsors. Now, it is absolutely more impressive if you do, and maybe you'll land gigs faster, like speaking on stages and panel discussions, right? But you do not need to do that to grow your network. So I want to caveat that there. But definitely if you're meeting people in person, have a business card, man. When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that you can do day one. So if you don't have a business card today, definitely get some. Pay. I mean, they're very, very, very cheap. Print some out. But even that will make a strong impression because most people don't have it. I'll share a story that he gave. He said somebody gave him a business card, or mixed up the business card. They had to mix up in the same pockets. So he said put them in different pockets. But a woman had written her number on it. And he gave him the wrong business card. He called that number, and it was this woman. He's like, "You don't sound like blah blah." She's like, "I actually gave him my number, you know." So anyway, I wouldn't sweat all of this stuff. I think it's hilarious. I'm a millennial as well, and we're going against the grain on a lot of stuff. But definitely the business card thing I agree with. Mistake number 5, lack of network. That's why I'm talking to y'all about this now. And y'all have put these numbers on y'all's pages. Priscilla said 5, Teswan said 4, Natasha Rodriguez said 5, Nina said 4, Queen said 3, I said 4, and maybe 5. All right. So a mistake people make is if you're the smartest person in your network, you're in the wrong network. That's high key real, right? So develop your personal network. We talked about that. Develop your operational network. This is for your business. We've talked about that, and develop your strategic network. We've absolutely talked about that. And I agree with him 100%. Mistake number 4 is lack of systems. If you don't have a system, you don't have a business. This man is right. Like when I talked about these mentors and these sponsors and these peers, like if it's not on your calendar, it don't count, right? You are not being intentional about it. You are not maintaining it. You're not treating it as a critical part of your business. Dr. Frazier goes as far as every single day he reaches out to at least 5 people. On Mondays, it's people that were old classmates that he hadn't talked to in a long time. On Tuesdays, is clients that he hadn't kept caught up with in a long time. Wednesdays, is family members. And he has this whole system 5 days of the week, and he does this so that every single week he's intentionally reaching out to 25 different people, right? It's beautiful. I've given you a different kind of system recommendation, which works for me, works very, very well for me, but you need to have a system. Number 3 is bringing nothing to the table. He says, are you really a subject matter expert? Prove it. Be committed to lifelong learning. This is high key important. The reason why, and again, I'm not blaming Black women because nobody's caping for us. People aren't protecting us the way they should. They aren't amplifying our voices. They aren't promoting us fast enough. All of these things, right? And so that leads to a lack of knowledge, a lack of mentorship, and a lack of capital. I'm really fighting really hard to beat, right? All of those the lack of resources there by doing things like this. But I need y'all to know to show up, right? Be committed to lifelong learning, like he says. Write books and articles. I highly agree with this. And you stick with me long enough, you're going to get there because I'm going to push you. But he's right. A book is a wonderful business card. He is right? That's the best business card you can have. So that's just a gem there. Number 2, we're almost there. Prioritizing IQ over EQ is a mistake. Most people think that their IQ is more important than their EQ. Inaccurate. EQ impacts how you talk to people, how you solve problems, and how you control your emotions. Emotional Intelligence 2.0 is a wonderful book to read. Write that down if you have not read it. That stays on my shelf. Even as I moved to Africa, I made sure that came with me. So I agree 100% here. So when I'm telling y'all things like show up as yourself, speak as you are, be real in the chat, DMs and all of these things. It's about EQ, right? Because you need to resonate with people, right? Just like you want your mentors to resonate with you or your sponsor to resonate with you, and definitely your peers to resonate with you. And then we're going to move on to number 1, which is the top 1. Dr. Frazier said, y'all are networking the wrong way. He said, if you have nothing, it's because you've given nothing. Give until it hurts, and then give until it feels better. I pour my life into helping people who have been disenfranchised, who are not protected, who suffer in silence, right? Who are under-supported. I give my life to that. And when I say I've received everything I've ever gotten 10 times back, because people pour into me from that same genuine place, right? And I agree. If you have nothing, it's because you've given nothing. I see very often new entrepreneurs kind of get on IG lives or get on their pages and frustrated and like, y'all don't support me and y'all not, and I have this sentiment right here. What have you given, right? What have you committed in your personal life to learn strategy, right? Because I haven't seen Walmart cussing us out. And if they did, we wouldn't care. We wouldn't listen. Walmart has taken it upon itself to learn us very well and learn how to message to us, right? How to solve our problems, how to reach us where we are, right? And that is what we have to do in our businesses and our network, etc. Because if you have nothing, it's because you've given nothing. And that's a hard truth, but it's so real. So again, in addition to my tricks that I use and it works tremendously well, I wanted to share some of the gems from him. So I'm closing this. I thank you all for showing up. I'm so proud of you. And just to let you know, for the next 7 days, I'm accepting students into the live cohort of my Blaze Business Intensive. For those of you who don't know, that is my 6-week program for Black female entrepreneurs where we really get into business management processes. I've just shared an overview if you haven't heard of the program before, but everything from budgeting to making your business plan to cash flow projections to strategy and automation. So much packed into that program. For my live cohort only, I also offer them 30 one-on-one strategy sessions with me, so that for the year after, we make sure that they do everything they say they want to achieve in the year. And I make sure we manifest that for them. So if you are interested at all, definitely set up a call with me. It's only a 20-minute call. It doesn't hurt. But I'll answer any of your questions and I'll, give you more insight into the program. I'd love to talk to you. Again, the call is absolutely free. And the page has more information about it. But that's it, folks. So I love y'all deep. Teswan, I'm so sorry it didn't work. I would have loved to see your smiling face today. But thank you, everybody. I appreciate y'all showing up for yourselves. I'm so proud of you. I mean that so much. You have no idea how many people don't show up for themselves. And that is why, some of the numbers in our income, right, is as disparaging as it is. So I believe in you wholeheartedly. Nina, thank you. Queen, thank you. Teswan, thank you. Priscilla, thank you. Natasha, thank you. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Have a good day.